This is a good guy, and you know it. I've knocked on doors for him. We've worked together on campaigns. He's the real thing. He's in it for all the right reasons. And let me tell you something else. We're all here for the right reasons. I was talking to some of my friends in labor from IBEW back here, and I said, what do you think the voters in Wisconsin would do if they had a makeover on that first race for Scott Walker and knew what they were getting into if that guy got in office? Well, my friends, I don't know what the Republicans are going to do in their primary, but if they end up choosing as their gubernatorial candidate this man who made $53 million last year and likes to show off his $18 watch and Carhartt jacket, we're in for some rough sledding when it comes to the future of the labor movement in Illinois. That's a mistake. It's a serious mistake. Because with all that money, he ought to be able to afford a history book. And if he picked up that book and read the history of America and took a look at the emergence of the labor movement in America, here's what he'd find. It was a labor movement that stood up for a 40-hour work week. It was a labor movement that stood up for overtime. It was a labor movement that stood against child labor. It was the labor movement that stood for safety in the workplace. It was a labor movement that fought for the minimum wage. It was a labor movement that established retirement benefits and health care benefits for workers. That's where they came from. And that's what's at stake in this election. I want to tell you, I was on the phone today with the governor. He's in Washington with the Governors Association. That's where he ought to be. I know Paul Vallis is going to come here and speak for him. I've seen Mike Frericks is hugging and missing. I've seen Mike Frericks is here tonight. There he is. And I hope I don't miss any other statewide candidates. Anybody else? Anybody? I know we got legislators and so forth. I was on the phone with the governor because we made an announcement downtown Chicago today. We announced that President Obama chose Illinois as one of the finalists that will receive $70 million to develop a new digital manufacturing initiative in our state. Now, what does this mean? I'll tell you what it means. It means that we brought together in one group effort the biggest corporations in our state, Boeing, Caterpillar, John Deere, you name them, all of the major research universities, community colleges, even high schools, trade associations, organized labor, and made an application in Washington saying, we want to lead. We want to lead right here, from Chicago, from Illinois, across this nation, to create good-paying manufacturing jobs for years to come. We want to have the research and the technology and the engineering to do it. I was on this phone, I did a press conference with the mayor, and then I got on the phone with Governor Quinn, and I thought to myself, those people who condemn organized labor ought to take a look around. When we put together our successful application, labor was part of that commitment, and that's the way it ought to be. So this is a clear election for all of us. I come from a union family, and I wouldn't be standing here today without the support of organized labor from the start in my political career. This election, they say, oh, it's the most important election. If you believe in organized labor and the right of men and women to bargain collectively, there is no important election than the election in Illinois this year. And let me tell you, on a national basis, there are certain things that we've got to stand for and fight for. And one of those things is comprehensive immigration reform. We passed it in the Senate, and it's been dying over in the House of Representatives. It is time for us to fix this broken immigration system. It is a simple matter of justice. Some of you saw the Aurora paper today about a family that came to me. Mom, American citizen. All three kids, American citizens. Dad, basically he was undocumented and deported and accused of a crime he never committed. They accused him of being a coyote and smuggling people across the border at the age of 14. It made no sense, and the poor man separated from his family for almost 2 years. Well, came to my office, and the great people who work for me said, we believe this family, we're going to help them. And if you read the story, it worked. He got home for Valentine's Day after 2 years, reunited with his family. If you meet him and you meet this family, let me tell you what you're looking at. You're looking at all of us, aren't you? Because my mom was an immigrant to this country. And if you go back far enough, that story is repeated at every table in this room. We can have a strong America, a diverse America. We can bring in people, as we always have, from all over the world, who are proud of where their roots might have been, but prouder still to be in America today. I don't know why in some small village in Lithuania, my grandparents sat down and said, there is a great opportunity for us. We've got to take the boat and get on the train and make it as fast as we can to East St. Louis, Illinois. Yeah, that's my hometown, and that's where they went. There were a lot of Lithuanians there, as there were up here in Chicago. But that's the story. Now, the Republicans have said they're going to stop that, and I hope that all of you who believe in comprehensive reform, and particularly those of you with friends whose lives are affected by it, Hispanic families, Asian families, let them know the importance of this election. Let them know why the election of Dennis Anderson as the next congressman is critically important. Let them know why the re-election of Bill Foster is so important, and the re-election of Tammy Duckworth. And I hope I haven't missed anybody else who's nearby in this area. Here's the last word I'll give to you, because Paul Vallis, I'm sure, is going to get into more detail. This year is a team effort. You heard about it before, but this one is for real. Listen to this now. In a presidential year like 2008, 70% of the eligible voters showed up to vote. 70%. By 2010, that number dropped to 52%, and we got creamed. The lesson is clear. When we bring out the vote, we win. When our people stay home, we lose. This coordinated campaign in Kane County, Cook County, Sangamon County, St. Clair County, all across this state is going to be a team effort of the entire slate with our congressional candidates to bring out the voters. We know when we educate, inform, and bring them out to vote, we can win. So I leave you with this thought. Everybody in this room thought enough of what we're doing here in Kane County and the Democratic Party to give us a piece of your life, and to come, maybe even a piece of your checkbook, to come here this evening. We need you to commit. We need organized labor to step up, and they always do. We need them to step up to help us win this election. We need good candidates in every post. We need the activists and the volunteers, and we can win this election. Perhaps your humble servant will get another chance to spend a few years representing you in the United States Senate. It's been my honor to do it. And with your help, I'll get another term. But even more important than that, the values that bring us together as Democrats, the values that we care about, are at stake in this election. The Tea Party is going to destroy Congress if we don't stop the Tea Party. I just learned from Dennis tonight that his opponent was the only Illinois congressman to vote to shut down the government. What was he thinking? Shutting down the government for 16 days? That was a disastrous Tea Party Republican decision. So is there a difference between Dennis and his opponent? There's one to start with. Thank you all for being here tonight. Have a great evening and a great dinner. I look forward to coming back again many times. Thank you.